Today's stories include new details on Hi-Fi Rush 2, Like a Dragon Yakuza gets its first trailer, and Devolver Digital launches a new label. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, October 1st, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Good morning, Bless. I'm not ready for this season. I'm not ready for October yet.
You're not ready for spooky season?
I don't want it to be. It's too soon, man.
What gets you in the mood for spooky season? You need some pumpkins outside. We can get a pumpkin.
Well,
some candy on the table.
Certainly not the weather right now, right? Like we always have spooky season weather all year round, but it's always in October. You get that select 7 to 10 day stretch where it's 85. Yeah, and it's like, well, what are we? It's weird. It's just weird shit.
Yesterday, I had on the Weather Channel. Why did I have on the Weather Channel? Oh, I was at the gym and the Weather Channel was on. I was like, I started freaking myself out because I was like, I don't have cable. How the fuck was I watching the Weather Channel? It was the one time I see the Weather Channel in a year. I'm at the gym and I'm looking and it's like they're going through the week and they're like, oh, it's gonna be 95 tomorrow. It's gonna be this, and they're like looking at they're like talking about San Jose numbers, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like, why is it this hot in October? It really is the inverse in San Francisco, where we get to October and it just gets super hot.
It's our summer.
It was my first October living in San Francisco, 2017.
Yeah.
And that was the year that it hit like 113 or some shit like that. It was the hottest recorded day since they started recording weather in San Francisco.
That's crazy. What did y'all do?
I didn't have an indoor AC unit. I didn't have like a little tiny thing that
because we had just moved in together, so we were just in that apartment, I think.
Yeah, and that was before I could really afford the $300 unit that you put in your room and put against the windows. It sucks in the air and makes
and
the
that was
room
before
cold
we
or
had
whatever.
Lulu, so I think we just opened up every window as big as we could.
Windows were open. I could not make contact with the bed. Like touch it. I just wanted to float. Touching anything just felt awful. You wanted to take a shower like every 30 minutes. It was really.
I was getting there last night. Where last night I'm just in my room playing a game and I'm just sweating. Right, like I had gotten home from the gym and I was like, oh, I'll cool off. And like 15 minutes later, I'm just sitting in front of my desk. I'm like, I should maybe just hop into the shower.
What's up with these lobbies, man? This game's so sweaty.
Yeah, I'm just in there
playing
sweating.
like a walking simulator.
Yeah, that's why I stopped going to the gym.
Someone asked a possibly dumb question: is it a humid heat? I would not. No, really. It's not like I feel like being in Ohio, like that is much more of a humid heat. No, it's just like our apartments are not built for this heat,
Yeah.
There's no many
places
AC,
Many places in the Bay don't have AC. And for me, I'm in the top floor of my building.
Yeah,
and so the heat rises and then the insulation is just bad. And so it just gets trapped. And so I'm sitting in a heat box.
Get that sun hitting on your roof real nice.
Yeah.
It's real good.
Yeah, because these apartments were built for a more chilly San Francisco where they're insulated to trap as much heat as possible because it's usually chilly outside. And so that's working against us as the climate continues to change.
So you said you're not in the spooky mood. You're not in the October.
I just feel like we just had New Year's. I
feel that. Yeah.
It's unbelievable that it's already October 1st.
Are you somebody that likes to celebrate the holiday?
No, not really.
I'm curious on I don't know if anybody here has Halloween plans because usually Kevin throws a Halloween party. He just had a child.
Still gonna make him.
You think he's gonna be able to
Baby's gonna be a Baby Yoda.
Baby's gonna be dressed up.
yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. So he's gonna dress up as Mando.
He's put like crazy prosthetics on it. It's like, I don't know if you should put a baby through that, Kevin.
Yeah, no, that baby's barely here. They're barely conscious.
Had him sitting in a 3-hour makeup.
Dressing up. Yeah, I don't know. I got no plan so far.
I like part of me. The last several years, I've been putting in money into buying a costume, and it's like, should I just do my cyberpunk thing again from last year? Because I had COVID last year, so I didn't even really get to fully utilize it.
I'll say I usually like your costumes because you go the extra mile. This year I'm like, I have a Fallout costume from years ago that I might rock again because the Fallout TV show came out. So I feel like that'd be relevant. I have a friend that's trying to get me to dress up as a sexy Ninja Turtle, and I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Because she and some friends are like doing Ninja Turtle outfits and they're trying to match me, and I'm like, I I feel like I can't be sexy with a shell on.
Well, usually when we talk about like sexy costumes, it's like maybe there's little tight clothes, cleavage, and with you it could just be the bulge out, like
just Raphael dick out.
You could also have cleavage. Remember the wedding that you had some cleavage?
True, but I don't know how to pull that same thing off in a Ninja Turtle outfit. You know what I mean?
I believe in you.
I believe in you too.
Mm-hmm.
Have the eye poking out the fucking mask a little bit. Of course, remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about, live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, send me your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Housekeeping for you. Remember, we're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. So today, after KFGD, you're going to get GAMESCAST, which is Greg's Starfield Shattered Space review. And then after that, the stream is going to be Greg playing some more of that Starfield. If you're a Kind of Funny member, you can, of course, get today's Gregway. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining and Carl Jacobs. Today, we're brought to you by Shady Rays, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 7 stories today.
Hello, Kind of Funny. I'd like to play a game. Underneath each of your seats, you will find a set of instructions.
No, Mom, get out of here. I'm trying to do a thing. God damn it. A baker's dozen.
That's good.
I like that came right on time for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's also fucked up because as I started, I was like, what if it's for real?
What is Greg putting us through right now?
Yeah, like what if I look under my scene, there actually is a fucking letter or some shit.
It did freak me out when I edited this, just to put it in MP3 format. Like the knocking on the door, I was like, oh shit. Who's knocking on the door right now?
Barrett's actually playing a game, like looks back.
Yeah, shout out to Mr. Hawks for that one.
Oh, shout out Mr.
Thank you,
Hawks.
Mr. Hawks.
Let's start with story number 1. Hi-Fi Rush 2's build was 6 months old when the PUBG company met with Tango Gameworks. I'm pulling from Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Hi-Fi Rush 2 looks like a certainty following PUBG company Krafton's acquisition of Tango Gameworks. In a new interview with GamesIndustry.biz, Krafton's head of corporate development, Maria Park, was asked about the company's plan for the Hi-Fi Rush franchise following the acquisition. Park said Tango Gameworks wants to bring the first game to other platforms, such as Nintendo Switch, and wants to work on Hi-Fi Rush DLC. Rather than rush out a sequel, Tango Gameworks wants to, quote, take the necessary time to refine the game and come up with a different experience, Park added. But what of the sequel? Park revealed that not only was Tango Gameworks working on Hi-Fi Rush 2 when Krafton first met with the team, but it had a 6-month-old build ready, with the goal of offering a more open-world type of game after the linear level design of the first. What's up, Greg?
I'm in there recording Gregway, all right?
Yeah.
He's just in there having a great Gregway. Patreon, YouTube, you know how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I look over at the fucking YouTube chat, and what do I see? F. Aeon saying, Greg, please let Mike play Kingdom Hearts and stop streaming shitty Starfield. Fuck you, man. All right?
Yeah,
fuck you, man.
Yeah, fuck you, dude.
How old is Kingdom Hearts? Fuck you. You
Fuck
fucking
you.
suck, F. Aeon. Gift a sub right now, or I'll come to your house and you won't like what I do to your toilet.
Jesus, fuck.
Possibly like a worse thread than like
Yeah.
violence, you know?
I'm like, just beat me up at that point. Like, don't fuck up my toilet. God
Yeah,
damn.
exactly.
Continuing with the article, quote, yes, the team was working on Hi-Fi Rush 2 when we first met them, Park said. They want to make sure it surpasses the expectations of the existing fans. For instance, some of the feedback about Hi-Fi Rush was that some people felt it was just going through factories, so now they want to give a more open world type of experience. I don't think it's going to be completely open world, but a more dynamic environment that you play in. Also, having more advanced technology applied to the rhythm action so that it feels more synchronized, end quote. Meanwhile, Park confirmed Tango Gameworks was working on anniversary content for The Evil Within, which is now unlikely to see the light of day. Park also said that by the end of the acquisition process, around 70 to 80 of Tango's 90 staff will have joined Krafton. Quote, we're also going to backfill some of the positions that are immediately in need, Park added. So the studio total will probably add up to around 90 to 100 towards the end of the year or the beginning of next, end quote. Park also teased that Tango Gameworks has a new co-op online game under development aimed at Krafton will bring its live service expertise to bear and help bring it to the next level. Andy, a more open world type of experience from a Hi-Fi Rush, is that what you want from a sequel?
I mean, no, not really. Like, maybe just more varied environments. I don't think the issue with Hi-Fi Rush for me was that it was a bit more closed off and linear. I just think a lot of it had very similar sort of interiors, right? I think if you just sort of switch up what the environments look like, I think that's all you really need to do. But I also just trust them with their vision and let them evolve if they want to, in a way that doesn't necessarily break the experience or make it, lesser than, I would say. I'm more kind of interested in like this different experience. Is that only the open world that they're talking about? Are they trying to evolve the formula in any way? Like, what do you think that means?
I mean, it's interesting how they word it, right? Because they say they want to give it a more open world type of experience. And they immediately follow that up with, I don't think it's going to be completely open world. And so I do wonder if that means open levels. Like, I wonder if that means more of a, like, you know how Astrobot is linear, but like, there's room to kind of walk around the levels and like find hidden things and like, you can explore a little bit even though they're more straightforward levels. I wonder if that's what they're going for, or if they really mean like you're going to be dropped in and you can like go any direction. Because for me, that's almost a different style of game that I don't think I want for Hi-Fi Rush 2. I liked how linear Hi-Fi Rush 1 was, right? I like how concise it was. I don't need something that is double the length or double the size, right? Like, I feel like they found something special with that, and I would want to be more dialed in as far as, moment-to-moment gameplay. Like, how can you keep surprising the player? How can you keep hitting people with things that they don't expect? Barrett was showing off clips, and like, there's a 2D section in that game that I forgot about, but like, stuff like that, right? Change the perspective, give me like, cutscenes and moments where I'm like, oh shit, wasn't expecting this here, right? And like, stuff to keep me in. That doesn't necessarily need to be open, but I do like the idea of, if you're making levels that are more explorable, that I could be more down with.
If you're gonna give me an open zone, you better double time that tempo, because you're gonna be slowly jogging through that whole place. That was one of the annoyances I had with like. Anytime, you're always kind of like jogging to the beat, and your jumps always felt like they were like not quite as long as they needed to be. Mm-hmm. We're gonna have to make that song faster. Maybe that's a mechanic. Speed up the music, and you can pretty cool. Move faster places or whatever. I'm excited for whatever they're bringing next. I'm also kind of curious as to what this co-op online game could possibly be.
Yeah, that I'm very fascinated about. Like, I think
please don't make it a games as a service, right?
I mean, I feel like nowadays, if you're going to make an online co-op thing, games as a service is almost the assumption, especially from Krafton, right? Krafton saying that they're going to bring their live service expertise to bear to help bring that game to the next level. That makes me think, oh, you're making a live service thing, but maybe it's like a small scale live service thing. Again, like Tango's a team of 80 people so far, right? That have returned. They were 90 originally, and they're still going to be that size. I don't see that as a studio that's going to try and make the next Destiny or like even an Outriders, right? Like, if they're making a co-op thing, I don't know, maybe it's something that is more almost like an indie scoped type of project, but maybe something that you can keep adding things to over time.
I also got to assume that it's something Krafton is looking at and saying, hey, if you want to make this Hi-Fi Rush sequel, let's make something else.
Let's make some money at the same time.
Yeah, because they already sort of prefaced, they already sort of laid the groundwork with that initial interview of saying, hey, we don't think they're going to make that money,
Yeah.
We don't think Hi-Fi Rush 2 is necessarily going to break the bank and actually bring a lot of profits in. So why don't you go make something?
Make something that might bring
some
some of the
little
profits.
microtransaction
Let's
here and
balance
there.
this out a little bit.
Yeah.
I do like hearing that they said around 70 to 80 of Tango's 90 staff will have joined Krafton, because that's the thing that, when we first saw the studio get shut down by Microsoft and get picked up by Krafton, immediate question was, oh, how many of those people have already found work? How many of those people are like feel burnt by the whole thing of, oh man, I was working for this studio and now I don't have a job, and now 2 months later you're bringing it back, right? Like, it's very nice to see that most of those people are able to kind of land back and find work again and find the same work and continue a project that I'm sure they have passion for, right? Because like Hi-Fi Rush meant a lot to the audience. I imagine that means a lot to that team because it's a very good game. it's cool to see them being able to continue that.
Yeah, and like we've talked about recently on, I think, the last Games Daily I was on, keeping that chemistry of the team together.
Yeah,
like that means something. That's not just something that you can like immediately just have, right? Like you're throwing away that chemistry. That's years and years of this team working together and knowing how each other works and knowing the rhythms internally and how does this person take feedback and like all that stuff really, really matters. And it's hard to kind of quantify that. So if you're able to recoup any of that, I think that's like largely a big win for them.
1000%. Let's move on to story number 2. Like a Dragon Yakuza on Prime has gotten a new trailer. I want to welcome to the stage the one and only, the biggest Like a Dragon fan we have in the office, Roger Bacorny.
The only one.
Yeah, the only one.
Welcome in.
I kind of like that game judgment a little bit.
We need some type of like applause, just for me though. Fuck everybody else. You know what I mean? Hey everybody.
Welcome in, Raj.
Hey, people are trying to keep me down. Trying to keep me away from the show.
Are they?
I'm gonna say this every time I'm on the show.
I turned left to you, and I was like, Raj, you want to be on the show this morning?
People try to keep me down.
You weren't even scheduled to be here.
People try to keep me down.
Now, Roger, again,
Roger
you're the
here.
biggest Like a Dragon fan we have in the office.
Hi.
And so it's only right that we live react to this trailer with you. Of course, me and Andy, well, I haven't seen the trailer. Andy, have you seen the trailer?
I have not, no.
Roger, I assume that...
I actively avoided it.
I assume that because you care so much about Kind of Funny Games Daily that you've kept away from watching the trailer.
Well, someone immediately tweeted at me and they said, "Hey, Roger, this trailer's out." And I just watched the entire thing and I was like, should have been content. Should have been content. Should have waited for that one. But we'll watch it again.
We'll watch it again because I really want to see
you
what
can
this
tell
looks
us what
like.
the hell's happening.
Nah, we'll see.
No.
We'll see.
Okay.
Is that Elseworld story? Barrett, bring up the trailer. Let's watch it. Start off strong. Just fucking start up with an uppercut.
All I wanted was, for audio listeners, all I wanted was to be a dragon.
That's exactly how he said it too.
You barely know what you're up against.
You're just a boy. You'll never be free again.
Oh, ooh.
1億どころか何億あんねん。
青梅の100億盗んだ奴らがうちにいんのか。
ビビってんなら一人で逃げな。
あんたが親殺しちゅうの。お前一人時間が止まってんじゃないのか。カズマ。
はったりでもいいから戦争止めてこいや。
I mean, the suits look great.
景気よく暴れられるのは最初だけ。そのうち原爆ボンボンで1億総玉砕で。
That's the
知ら
wacky
ねえん
one?
だよな。新宿の悪魔のことは。
The Demon of Shinjuku. That's so
そ
cool.
の悪魔の目的は何だ。
神室町。
Whoa! Most expensive stuff in the game. I mean, the music is kind of fire.
妻が全部悪いんじゃ。カズマがヤクザになんかならなかった。
10年前俺たち兄弟を裏切ったのはお前だろう。お前さんの理由も
The marketing series
Yeah,
never
that
said.
That looks placeholder.
Channel the dragon that works. Devour and dominate.
Rough.
So is it just the text that's kind of like making you feel like, what happened here?
The thing that my first initial reaction to all of that was like, I was kind of sold beforehand because I was like, oh, it's going to be different. I know it's going to be a different take on everything. I watched it, I'm like, I barely recognize what's happening here, like in terms of just like the first game, or even if you're trying to incorporate some of the stuff from Zero, but like from Kiwami 1, like I see
touchstones aren't there.
I see
Yeah.
some elements of it, but it's like I don't know where you're going with that. That demon thing, the demon of Shinjuku, like that is not anywhere near what happens in the first game, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with them taking their creative liberties, but yeah, it's just tough to find those touchstones as the fan, and I'm looking for those things. I'm looking for those things to be like, oh shit, like the 10 billion yen, like okay, yeah, that is from the original game, the 20 billion, whatever. But like, yeah, the kid's not there. Like, I don't know where this kid is at, and that's a huge part of the original game. So it's like I think they're not doing the kid element of it, and they're just kind of going on their own
It
thing.
seems like they're doing way more of an original story than...
Yeah,
Which is kind of tough because the people that are largely going to champion this are fans of the video game.
Yeah.
This isn't like, I guess an outside sort of fan base can find this and be like, oh, there's this new sort of crime show, crime drama based in Japan or whatever. and that could definitely bring in people. But largely, you need the Like a Dragon fans to really, really endorse this and say, hey, this show's awesome. You don't need to care about the video game series. Come watch this. So if they're not even appeasing the fans.
Yeah, I mean, there's some elements, right? I mean, you see fucking Majima, you see Nishiki in there, and like I think that Nishiki and Kiryu's relationship, the childhood best friends, and then things happen, and then maybe they separate a little bit. That is interesting in the original Kiwami 1. Like, that is something that I think could carry this entire show. But even then, like, you just see just small snippets of it. You don't really even see the kind of flash forward elements of Nishiki that are the soul of that game. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I'm not really. I was kind of like more sold beforehand, and now I saw this. I'm like, I kind of wish I didn't watch this.
Majima is played by Munetaka Aoki. Godzilla -1.
Oh,
the guy who hurts his leg, the guy who like fixes the plane for him at the end.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see Majima though. That excites me. Yeah, that gets my nips hard.
How does it? Goddamn.
I mean, it's true.
How's it hitting for you tonally? Because this is a conversation we've had.
Yeah.
When this first got announced, is how do you adapt a Yakuza? I think it was me and Andy that had the conversation actually, right? Like, how do you adopt the Like a Dragon games where there is an over-the-top nature to them? There is a goofy nature to them a lot of the times. I know game to game, they can be kind of different, right? I know Like a Dragon, when you introduce Ichiban to the mix, it gets a little bit more goofy, but is this what you expect when you just look at the vibe and take it in?
This is what I expect out of an adaptation, right? Like, this is not like my dream scenario here. I do think they're taking this a lot more seriously than I would have liked them to, but I do think that is the fun of the Like a Dragon series, the Yakuza series, is that it looks very serious. You start Kiwami 1, you're like, fuck, this is serious as hell. And then it progressively gets goofier when you do the side stuff. So not to say that I think that there's going to be a whole episode where there's side stuff, or I think there's going to be some moments. I think you're definitely going to have Majima doing his Majima thing, right?
I'll be honest, none of these guys look like they're about to go to a Sega arcade.
That's true.
and play some Sonic Fighters.
I mean, if you don't see some type of arcade in this, then that's a failed opportunity. There has to be. There's got to be at least in the background, like, oh, do you want to go there? That's for kids or something like that.
Give me an arcade fight scene, and where you can like kind of see the Sega arcade machines.
There's got to be
Sonic
a karaoke
Fighters
scene as well, right?
I think what you need also, there's got to be a sequence where somebody gets some sort of a hallucinogenic drug given to them, and then that's how you incorporate the goofiness of like here's how we can give the game fan part of that goofiness. This person's high on, and they're like imagining weird shit that happens in the video game.
So what they did for the Dora movie.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
they go
she
into
took drugs?
They go into a mushroom land, and they like inhale mushrooms, and then like they're all animated. It's pretty fucking funny. It's pretty fucking funny.
I gotta watch this Dora movie.
Holy shit!
I do want to point out, Raj, that the font that we were very kind of grossed us out by the end of it.
Yeah.
I legitimately think it's the Amazon font.
No.
Like, look at the letters when it pops up. It feels like that's the font that comprises the words like Amazon and Prime, or you could see this in their
because they changed the logo recently, so maybe that
of the show. They changed
of Prime. Like Prime is like a more like generic, the fucking modern logo design.
It just feels like the font you would see.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah,
it has the rounded.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, the text isn't even the thing that like I'm thinking about when I'm watching this trailer. But yeah, it is weird looking back. But yeah, I don't know.
Are you gonna watch
October? Of course, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it and do a review, do some type of content about it. But yeah, October. I think this is 2 parts. I think from what I'm
2 releases.
Fuck that. You know what I mean? We got to stop
the Invincible
as a country, as a universe. Fucking it's Cobra Kai. Have you seen this?
No,
that's like 4 parts or whatever.
Kamala wants to spread apart the show.
Cobra Kai is 3 parts.
Like it's like a week later though, right? It's not like Invincible.
I call her laughing Kamala.
Why are we doing this?
That's the build hype.
No, because they want me to keep my fucking subscription.
It's like we want to have the cake and eat it too. All right, we're asking for weekly releases. They don't want to give us that, right? Well, okay, we'll give you binge. Oh, but you want? All right, cool. We'll split into 2. What if we just did? And 2 weeks?
And what sucks is that like I already kind of made my headcanon was Invincible was split apart because they wanted to find a way to give you ads, like because now you get like 15-second ads on Amazon stuff. And in my head canon, I was like, oh, that's why they did that. And now they're just doing it for everything. That's why I was like, oh, it's
like, what are we doing?
Well, they want you
That's
to keep that
stinky.
subscription, right? So it's
Hey,
like
with the Penguin show, real good though. Oof, man,
real
episode
good.
two,
That's good.
show.
Week to
Is
week.
episode
you know?
2 out?
Yeah.
episode two's
Sunday.
really good,
Sundays
really
Sundays
good.
are back. Sunday viewings
Sundays
are
are
back.
back.
Do you think he's
With
gonna
the
smoke?
Penguin.
Do you think he's gonna smoke a cigarette out of a cigarette holder in the show?
The Penguin
Ooh,
or
yeah,
or
possibly.
Majima?
Yeah. I mean both.
yeah.
The penguin specifically. I like that when we come together, it becomes penguin talk.
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
When you're putting out fucking just goated ass TV every single Sunday,
yeah,
you
you
know,
gotta
we gotta
talk.
talk.
You gotta
about it.
talk penguin.
Just
Gotta
because it
talk
was
penguin.
brought up, can I show you all a clip from the Dora the Explorer movie that
Fuck
I've
yeah.
not seen, but I see it this clip on social media every once in a while, and
We
it
get taken down immediately.
Yeah, 100%.
Delicioso. Can you say delicioso?
Delicioso.
Say delicioso.
I didn't know they did this in this show.
She'll grow out of it.
That's really good.
It's a good movie.
Fuck, I might need to watch this movie.
Let's watch the
Goddamn.
Dora movie. Come over to my house.
Here's the
Hang
thing.
out with me.
I mean, listen. If you give me the
You're
like,
turning into Mike. You're turning into Mike.
Play deadlock with me.
Roger never asked me to hang out, so I'm like, oh shit. Here's the thing. I know you're a fan of the CW. When I watch this Yakuza trailer, I get big CW
Oh,
vibes
huge
from it.
CW. Huge
really?
CW.
Do you think it can hit? Because I know that hits hard for you too. Do you think
Positively.
if this leans into the CW, hey, we're making a B show, a C show here. I don't know what grade we're giving CW, but we're making that.
I mean,
it's gonna be corny.
yes and no, right?
It's gonna be
I would
campy.
put it. I would say it's above that.
You think it's above the CW?
It is.
I like. It doesn't look.
But here's the thing about the CW. Let's have a-
Production values looked higher for sure to me.
You and I were younger.
I'm talking early Arrow seasons.
But that's the thing, you
The
and I were-
CW devolved into like Power Rangers shit.
But that was before we got everything was on HBO. There was so many shows, so many superhero stuff, right? So many adaptations, right?
Watchmen, what
so,
a show.
So we were so excited about seeing
Fuck yeah.
anything, any Arrow theme
Yeah.
flash on TV. It was like, oh my God, this is crazy that they're doing this. Now it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. This doesn't excite me. Anything CW doesn't
Level,
excite me.
yeah.
Yeah, unless I was a child. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Roger,
thank you, everybody.
thanks so much
for
for
joining
joining
us,
us.
Raj.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to story number 3. But before we do, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames. Over there, you can get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Durable frames and world-class optics for all outdoor adventures. With an extensive array of styles and colors, you're bound to find the perfect pair of Shady Rays sunglasses. Y'all know Tim has been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and he's having a great experience wearing Shady Rays when he's out and about looking dope. If you don't love your Shady Rays, exchange for a new pair or return them within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades.
A lot of
And-
bold tweets.
A lot of bold tweets.
People being bold out there.
I stopped doing the checkmark thing. I bought the checkmark for a little bit just to test out like how much money are people really making off this thing. Didn't make enough money.
I
was
didn't know
like,
you
"Fuck out of here."
did.
Oh yeah, I had the checkmark for like a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, and I abandoned it. I was like, this is not making nearly enough money. Because here's the thing. I was like, if I can make $20 a month off this, right? If I can just make some inflammatory tweets, say some buck wild shit,
Yeah.
fucking end the MCU tomorrow, and then get a billion retweets,
yeah.
and I start to make like $50 a month, $100 a month, then maybe I can become one of those grifters.
Yeah.
And go down that route. I did it. It wasn't worth it. I want to bring some super chats into the mix. Demon Hacker says Yakuza show better have an episode about pocket racing. You know about that?
No.
I think that's just like the kart racing thing in Yakuza, if I remember correctly. And like,
Why is it called pocket racing?
why is it called pocket racing? Let me know in chat. But yeah, like I would love at least like a reference to that goofy shit. I think that stuff is fun. And then Brando writes in and says, really wanted to like this trailer, but But no, Haruka is just crazy. She's essential to the plot. And I see. No, Haruka is just crazy. She's essential to the plot and Kiryu's development as a character. There you go. Let's move on to story number 3. Devolver Digital launches a new publishing label, Big Fan Games. This is Rachel Kosser at VentureBeat. Devolver Digital today revealed Big Fan Games, its new publishing label and wholly owned subsidiary. Big Fan Games is a small team focused on indie creators, specifically on indie creators who are interested in making games licensed from existing franchises. The new studios team has several members from Good Shepherd Entertainment, and its mandate appears to focus on the promise of what indie game creativity can bring to licensed titles. Big Fan would support indie developers who wish to make an unusual game within a certain franchise, as well as IP owners who wish to find a new avenue to connect with fans. As the company said in an official statement, quote, "When it comes to licensed games, we think there's room for a new approach. One where indie developers get to make the call, to take some risks and explore unique ideas that aren't dictated by spreadsheets," end quote. Big Fan cites examples of creative IP from indie studios with other Devolver-based projects, Bithell Games' John Wick Heck, or Upstream Arcade's Hellboy, Web of Weird, or Nereal's Reigns, Game of Thrones.
John Wick's Heck?
John Wick's Heck.
Good old Heck.
John Wick Hex.
Heckin' John Wick.
John Wick's Heck.
What the heck?
What the heck, John Wick? As the company states, quote, "We support developers by providing our industry expertise and the resources they need to bring their ideas to life. Our goal at Big Fan is to nurture fun and inventive games that stand on their own, rather than serving as marketing tie-ins for other media launches," end quote.
This kicks ass.
This is awesome.
I love this, especially because obviously there's a lot of small indie developers out there that really want that. Maybe we'll see a movie coming out or are fans of whatever franchise and have a really weird, funky idea that may go against the grain, that may not be a big third person action adventure game or whatever, but let's do something kind of unique and odd with this franchise that you really wouldn't have seen otherwise. And to be able to connect these small indie developers with these larger kind of corporations, I think is really, really sick.
Andy, clear your mind. If you can connect one indie developer with a big IP, what project would you make?
It would be Slow Clap in the John Wick game.
I mean, of course. I mean, I feel like there's a good chance that that's going to happen, right? Because we're getting the reverse where the John Wick people are making a Sifu movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like because I'm trying to think of what's the developer that did Papers, Please. I forget. Actually, no. Fucking Greg already pitched this. The Paper Please Star Wars game.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that came to mind, but that's because fucking Greg Miller incepted it into my brain.
Well, he didn't incept it. He just said it out loud to you.
He incepted it into my brain.
Damn, he went into your dreams.
He put me to
bro?
sleep,
That's
and yeah,
crazy.
he fucking invaded my brain.
I would say, let's see. Honestly, I think that the oh gosh, I'm blanking on the developer name for Inscription.
Oh,
Inscription developer. Let me look it up.
can't think of their name.
Daniel
published it.
Mullins Games.
There you go.
If Daniel Mullins Games decided to do anything with any franchise, it would be guaranteed to be weird as shit.
Yeah.
And I would want to see any of those franchises become really, really the big, large franchises that you think about when we're talking like Marvel or Disney. I would love for him to have one of those gigantic properties that is usually treated with so much respect and irreverence. And I want to
fucking Mickey Mouse.
I want to see that really turned into this meta weird experience,
Somebody in chat mentioned Deck 9 Degrassi, and I might steal that answer.
That's good.
Because,
That is pretty cool.
growing up as a kid who fucking loved Degrassi and now being an adult who loves Life is Strange, I think, adapting that into that type of game would be so fucking sick.
I like that a lot.
But yeah, no, I think this is a wonderful idea. And yeah, who better to do it than Devolver? They have, I think, proven themselves as one of, if not the top indie publisher when you're talking about, a publisher that's been around for a very long time, that's been publishing consistent quality for a very long time, and who I think maintains an energy that is respected and liked by fans every year when we get to the Devolver Digital presentation that they do, where they do a bunch of weird shit, right? Like there's an excitement around it because you get that very specific energy of like the Devolver Digital chaos. And I think when you are a publisher that is able to embody something like that, when you're able to embody some kind of personality, that's something that 99% of publishers aren't able to do. And Devolver has that because they're able to back that up with the games as well. We're to the point where when Devolver announces a thing, I am looking forward to it, usually as a video game, right? Just knowing it's a Devolver thing. And so I love that they're doing this. I love that they're finding ways to connect indie devs with bigger IP. We talked about it before of how difficult it is to make games nowadays and hope for it to be a success. You know, especially this year when we're seeing studio closures, when we're seeing layoffs, when we're seeing all this shit. It is very scary right now to be an indie developer and want to launch or create a brand new thing that's not been heard of before, because, you know, if it fails, guess what? You just lost a bunch of money, or you fucking sold your house to make this game, and now guess what? I'm out of a house and I just put out a failure, right? Like, I think to be able to go, hey, I have this cool idea and I have an IP that maybe I love, right? Like I'm a big fan of Star Wars, or maybe I'm a big fan of Invader Zim, or whatever random IP it is, to have a company like Devolver that has the connections, that, you know, again, has the long, you know, the respect from years and years and years. I think it's very valuable to have. Barrett, what's up?
You sparked something in my mind. I would want, this is a weird kind of collab here, but I would love the Thank Goodness You're Here team to make an Invader Zim game where you play as Gur.
Oh, that'd be really cool. I like that.
Little guy causing chaos.
I played
I'll go with Playdead and Severance. The Apple
Oh.
Plus TV show.
That'd be really good. I played the Rugrats game. That I believe is published by The Mix. They made like a new like an NES 8-bit style Rugrats game where you can change between the art style back and forth. Played it on my Steam Deck on a plane recently, and like was really cool. The whole time I was like, how the fuck is this a Rugrats video game? Like an official Rugrats game.
Yeah, and like going back and forth between like the old school and like new art styles and shit. That was fun.
Yeah, and like the art styles look so distinct. I like the 8-bit art style a lot because it feels and plays like a game that was made in like 1980. But yeah, when you jump forward to like the modern art style, right? Like it looks really cool as well. I don't know. Like that's one where I'm like, damn, y'all really pulled this off and did it with a license that I would imagine would be really tough to get. And so good on you. I want to see more games like that. Story number 4. Square Enix wants to release Final Fantasy 16 on Xbox, but can't share a release date yet. This is Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Square Enix has provided an update on the potential for an Xbox port of Final Fantasy 16, saying it wants to release the game on Microsoft's console, but can't share a release date yet. Speaking of video games, Square Enix's Naoki Yoshi-P Yoshida, producer of both FF14 and FF16, strongly suggested that Final Fantasy 16 will eventually come out on Xbox by telling fans not to give up hope. Quote, "Of course, we did announce the PC version of the game, so looking towards the Xbox version, we do want to release it on Xbox," Yoshida said. "But when it comes to specifics, such as when the game would be available and such, we are not in a position to be able to share anything. But of course, I want to say that it's not as if there's zero hope, and we very much do want to achieve that. So players should not give up in terms of their hopes," end quote. Cool.
Don't rob this experience from Xbox players.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to experience this video game. This game is so freaking good. It always breaks my heart anytime there's always a new, like, hey, yeah, it still didn't meet expectations. Like, hearing all that news was really a massive bummer because of how much I enjoyed the game and just wanted it to succeed more and more. And I think they shot for the moon and they landed there. Like, it's one of my favorite games of the past like several years that have come out. I think just story wise, it's so damn good, and the dialogue and the writing is fantastic. I want more people to experience. I wish I could freaking Men in Black make my brain just forget the whole experience.
Yeah,
let me replay it on
experience all over
PC because
again.
it's so awesome on PC. It looks so damn good, so sharp. It's a really, really damn good video game, and Xbox players, don't lose hope.
Yeah.
I know you've felt hopeless for for many years. Don't lose hope on this one.
Yeah. I like the fact that Square Enix is embracing like more third party or like, all platform releases again.
Write your local congressperson, Xbox players.
This is one that I think I do want to see on all platforms, because to your point, it always sucks to see a game like this end up not being able to meet expectations. And I'm sure a lot of that is Square just having the highest expectations of all their games, and so nothing be able to fucking hit that. But I think this is a game that I think did so much right to be able to hit those expectations. And we had this conversation recently when they put out their financial statements talking about like, why maybe this and FF7 Rebirth might have not met expectations, being that they released so closely to each other, right? Two gigantic Final Fantasies in less than 12 months. Probably not a great idea. That said, you look at the production of this one, you look at how good this game looks, how well it plays, how fun the combat is, how good the story is, how endearing the characters are, how, the scope of it, how long this game is, right? There's so much that this game is doing that, should naturally lend to, oh yeah, people are going to pick this thing up, of course. Like, look at it. It plays fantastic. The music's great. Like, everything about it, I think, works for what it is. And it sucks to see that not be able to live up. And so hopefully it getting to Xbox players at least helps those numbers a bit. I don't think that's going to like solve everything.
No, not at all.
But at the very least, like, yeah, get this game in as many hands as possible. Story number 5. Speaking of Xbox expands research division to collaborate with game developers. This is Justin Carter at Game Developer. Microsoft has expanded its Xbox research division, which traditionally focuses on player experiences, to solicit feedback from Xbox developers to improve future tools and services. In a blog post, the company explained how its research team will, quote, listen to developer partners in Xbox's ecosystem and work with product teams to bring forward insights and data that could help improve future tools and services, end quote. The hope is that discussions and data will help Xbox research, quote, address pain points and enhance the experience of partners across the spectrum of disciplines, end quote. Under the new program, the division will use research methods such as interviews, usability and playtests, surveys, and more. Principal user research Deborah Henderson said these are already used for players, but have been retooled to be more developer-focused. Data from these studies, quote, will help us figure out both what to build and how to build things well, she said. It's all about giving game developers what they need to feel empowered and supported by Xbox, end quote. Henderson explained the program is open for all developers as opposed to just technical staff. She said all facets of game development are vital to the process, and that includes studios who have never released a game on the Xbox platform. Quote, we want to hear from everyone who works on games or helps support game studios, because if we can make your life easier, it makes games better, she continued.
I'm surprised this didn't exist already.
Yeah, I had the exact same reaction while reading the story. I'm like, oh, snap, okay, so you guys didn't already have this. Which, to me, this goes back to conversations we had during our predictions for PlayStation State of Play. I know I'm swinging in a different direction here, but there are parts where Greg was talking about how it'd be nice it's always nice to think that these companies have all their shit together, but when really they don't, right? This is one of those things where reading this, I'm like, damn, this is something you would think they already had, but at the very least, they identify that this is a missing piece and that they're building it. And I've heard of similar things, even on PlayStation, where I've talked to friends that work there, and they're like, yeah, no, we have this team that you would think that's been around forever, but PlayStation's finally gotten to a point where they're like, let's build this team. And it's something that would be very basic of what you would expect from them. And so, good to hear. Hopefully this allows for, I don't know, just better game development. I feel like, Xbox has been one of those ones where we get to some of those major releases and we're like, oh, what went down here? Like, how did we end up with a Redfall? How do we end up with XYZ game that might not have lived up to expectations? I'll hope and think that this team would at least help with some of those scenarios.
Yeah, especially when you're a smaller team trying to, it feels just like a really nice area to have an FAQ section where you can just kind of, what other problems have other developers run into when trying to execute this mechanic or this visual thing, and why is this having issues on the Series S versus the Series X, and how can we better sort of meld that experience? I just hope this, like you just mentioned, gets to get that, you can connect that bridge, let's make things a little bit easier, a little bit more streamlined. But again, just kind of surprising that this hadn't existed yet. That's my main takeaway.
Yeah. Story number 6. It is a sad story. Castlevania veteran Shutaro Ida steps down from Bloodstained 2 following cancer diagnosis. This is Chris Scullion at Video Games Chronicle. Castlevania veteran and Bloodstained designer Shutaro Ida has stepped down from Bloodstained 2 after being diagnosed with cancer. Ida, who was a lead developer on the DS Castlevania games and went on to design spiritual successor Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, posted on his X account that he had already started work on the sequel to Bloodstained but now has to focus on his treatment. Quote, I, Shutaro, also known as Curry Boy and Curry Sage, have been diagnosed with cancer and have now begun my battle with the disease, he wrote. I had already started discussing the sequel to Bloodstained and I have various ideas for the game. From now on, I will hand over this work to others. Thank you for your support. End quote. Very sad news. Of course, our heart goes out to Ida. And yeah, like this always, it always sucks to like, I think have the vision, have the idea for, oh, this is what I want to do with my next project. And because of health reasons, we've seen, we saw this recently with, what was the Suikoden, Ayuden Chronicles.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
right.
where the lead for that passed away, right? And like, they kind of had to see that to the finish line or see some of that stuff to the finish line. It's always heartbreaking to see these kind of stories where a creative is like, oh, this is what I want to do. But then, yeah, because of health reasons, isn't able to see it through all the way. But hopefully with Bloodstained 2, they get to a place where he's able to at least be proud of it and be proud of the work that the team puts into it.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully, can be on the mend as quickly as possible. Maybe be able to get back to the passion and get back to the thing that sort of drives you daily,
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Andy, that was a lot of big news we just talked about. But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know about, where would I go?
You'd go to our last story, the Wii News channel, where we cover the small news items you need to know about.
Story number 7. It's time for Wii News. From Eurogamer, Sony has responded to complaints about a recent PlayStation 5 update, festooning. Is that a word? Festooning? This is Eurogamer, so this might be one of the words that they be using over there.
They got to be planting that word just to throw you off.
I mean, here's
For
the
a
thing,
second,
is
I thought
the
Barrett
Google
was
Doc
fucking with me.
doesn't say it's a misspelled word.
Garund, or present participle. Festooning.
I could have sworn I read this before, and festooning was not in this when I copied and pasted it from Eurogamer.
What is festooning, and why do bees do it? Is one of the questions, one of the things people look up on Google. Festooning means adorning.
Adorning?
Yeah.
So, let me take this from the top.
Come on, Eurogamer.
Eurogamer.
A good-ass word, though.
Sony has responded to complaints around a recent PlayStation 5 update festooning the console's home screen with promotional art and outdated news, blaming the now resolved incident on an unintended tech error. Quote, a tech error with the official news feature on the PS5 console has since been resolved, the company wrote on its Ask PlayStation social media feed, adding, quote, there have been no changes to the way game news is displayed on PS5, end quote.
Maybe you clicked on the word festooning and then like Google gave you options for synonyms and you accidentally clicked on.
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe it said adorned,
Yeah,
or
maybe
adorning.
Like, I almost want to open up the original Eurogamer article to like double check. I'm like, man, they be using some wild words over there in Europe.
You know, it makes sense. The console's whole screen was festooned with a lot of promotional art and ads.
Did you see this making the rounds?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people were like, very upset with it. I also was like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing?
No
this?
wonder why you're not giving us our, our themes and the art and all that shit.
I'm like, you take away themes, then you're putting in ads? How
Yeah.
fucking dare you?
My favorite was Gene Park, where like the ads for the games were ads for the games like already downloaded on his like let's say he had Elden Ring up, it would be an ad for Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And it would show him like a quote from his review. And it's like,
oh, that's really funny.
What are we doing here?
That's hilarious. Also, did you guys see that PlayStation Network went down yesterday?
Yeah.
For like
right?
an extended amount of time.
I think it just went back up early this morning.
I was playing a game, and it was like the game was going crazy because it couldn't connect to online, and I was like, oh. And then I left the house for like an hour and a half. I went to the gym. I went to the CVS, got my flu shots.
Yeah.
Came back.
Yeah, like
ate some dinner.
Had a productive.
Yeah, I was like,
night.
let me go have a productive evening, I guess. Left for an hour and a half, came back, ate dinner, turned on my PlayStation, still down. I was like, what the fuck?
You didn't hear a word about it from Greg because he's been Starfielding.
Yeah.
And I've been playing Zelda, so yeah, I didn't turn on my PlayStation all yesterday.
I experienced it. I was gonna play Overwatch with friends.
Oh.
I had my friend hit me up. They were like, "Hey, Monday Overwatch," and I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do it." I only got 30 minutes because I'm reviewing the game. And then yeah, when I got back, I texted him. I was like, "Hey, PlayStation's down."
Damn.
I don't know what's going on.
Did you feel like sick after the shots? Because I got mine on Saturday, and I felt a little tired, but I thought I was gonna be out.
This morning I am tired. Like I'm not sick. Maybe I'm like very, very
My body was
lightly.
aching a little bit. You know?
Yeah, I'm definitely sore where I got the shot.
Yeah, same, still here.
Yeah, and I'm like, I've been trying to like, oh
yeah,
God, that shit
left
hurts.
arm,
That
yeah.
shit hurts. But I am feeling away this morning where I'm just like, I'm not as on it as I am, and I think it's just a little bit of fatigue.
Cloudy.
Yeah, a little cloudy. This next one comes from GamesIndustry.biz. New indie publisher Shoreline Games just launched, also unveiling its portfolio for early 2025. The company was created by US-based co-founders Keith Kawamura and Jenny Zha. Coming soon to Game Pass Standard, you got MLB The Show 24. It's coming October 2nd to console. You got Open Roads for console October 2nd. You got Sifu, cloud, console, and PC on October 2nd. You got Mad Streets for cloud, console, and PC for October 7th. Barrett, you can look up a trailer for Mad Streets.
I'm already on it.
Thank you.
Also look up Sifu. And check out that
And
game.
yeah, you know what? Just look up Sifu.
Yeah.
Let's look at that game again. And we got Inscription.
Was that number 2 or number 3 on our top 10 that year? I think it was like top 3.
It must have been top 3, right? Because what? That was the same year as Elden Ring?
Yeah.
I bet that was number
Best
3.
game, man.
And then we have Inscription. That's coming October 10th, cloud, console, and PC. Barry, look up some footage of Inscription. Let's just look at it.
We've already seen it. We know what it looks like. This is Mad Streets.
What the fuck? Is that a food fight? Oh, is this like
They got like some Gang Beast kind of movement.
Yeah, it's like Gang Beast with like more people.
I wouldn't be surprised if in a week or two Mike brings this up at the weekly meeting to stream.
Yeah.
This is like Gang Beast if it was published by EA Sports Big.
Yeah. Perfect description.
Yeah. Interesting. This next one is from publisher CI Games. Lords of the Fallen 2 has been scheduled to release in 2026 with a full announcement in 2025. From Noble, Coffee Stains The Spill livestream is set for October 8th at 8 a.m. Pacific. New info on Valheim, Satisfactory, Deep Rock Galactic, Goat Sim, and more.
Man, I really gotta check out Satisfactory. I've been hearing so many damn good things about it.
Which one is Satisfactory again?
It just hit 1.0. It's a PC game that is a first-person kind of survival-ish thing, but a lot of you're building like assembly lines and all sorts of stuff, and there's a lot of like kind of creativity that goes into the way you are building these things. But like so far, it's one of the highest rated games this year.
Really?
Yeah. It seems really, really impressive, but also it seems really daunting.
Yeah. Oh my
Overwhelming.
God.
Yeah. Look at this shit.
Holy shit.
Crazy stuff.
And then
Kind of looks like No Man's Sky. The little people running around you.
Jesus. Yeah. No. Like the fucking people are building wild shit.
Yeah. Look at loops. You got some roller coasters there.
Reminds you of Rocket Robot on Wheels Level 1, where you can kind of build a roller coaster. You can't get as crazy as that, but
And Google Rocket Robot.
Robot on Wheels. It was a N64.
Oh,
3D
this little guy.
platformer
Yeah.
From was it Sucker Punch? I think developed it.
This little guy. Yeah.
And the first level, had like a roller coaster builder that you would make to like get the collectibles.
If I drew a robot on wheels and Greg drew just a normal human, Roger would think the human would look closer to Rocket Robot on Wheels.
Because it has like human eyeballs though.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Look at those human eyes.
It's the
vibe was
you know?
probably more
Yeah.
captured in Greg's drawing, you know?
Yeah. Could you somehow see if you can find somebody making a roller coaster in Rocket? Because that shit was ahead of its time. I never left the first level because I was obsessed with just making roller coasters.
It was Ubisoft that at least published
Ubisoft published it, and I think Sucker Punch developed
Sucker Punch
Whoa.
Productions.
Which, think about
helped
that.
That's crazy.
That's insane. That's like how for Oni, I believe Rockstar published, but Bungie
developed, yeah.
That's crazy.
Wild shit going on in 2001. Lastly, for Wii News, give Dropout a PlayStation now. All right, that's from me.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday,
Directly from you.
on Twitter, Dropout on Twitter, they tweeted out, Dropout fans who have been asking for a PlayStation app, we have some good news and some bad news. The good news, we're working with a team of devs to build a PlayStation app for Dropout, and it's progressing well. The bad news, PlayStation has unfortunately rejected our application to host an app in the PlayStation Store. We've been told we could potentially reapply for consideration at the end of this year, but there are no guarantees. This has been an unexpected process. We give kudos to Sony, PlayStation for being very selective about what apps and brands they have on their platforms, but we really hope they'll reconsider. This is what I'll say. Reconsider, because your boy's a Dropout fan, and it'd be dope to have this on PlayStation for the PlayStation people that
Get the
want to
Kind
watch
of Funny
Dropout.
app on PlayStation.
And this is what I'll say too. I've never heard of Dropout, and until they start intercapping PlayStation, keep them the fuck off the PlayStation.
Damn.
Show some fucking respect.
I mean, he's right.
This man's gonna stream an Xbox exclusive game shortly after this.
He's fucking turning, you know? Listen.
Cloud saves on Steam and stuff, yeah.
He's fucked up. That's it for Wii News. But also, show some respect to Dropout, all right? They're out there doing good work. Before we get out of here.
Not until they put you on this damn show.
Put me on them, actually. Iffy. Or whoever's in
I
charge
don't think
over
the
there.
best way to get them on the show is for me to, like, you know, tell them that they suck without you.
Yeah.
So sorry. You guys are great.
We got some super chats for you. Mara writes in and says, give me a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game based in the IDW comics from the crew that made Sea of Stars in The Messenger. Bear's thinking about it.
Messenger style, I could like the
Messenger
more
style
like actual action kind of gameplay I could see for sure.
Yeah.
Someone else in chat, I forget who it is, but I wanted to shout them out. They also said Avatar: The Last Airbender, but give it to the Sea of Stars devs because that would be fucking sick.
Oh yeah,
that would be fucking sick.
Yeah, I can see it. Edward Bork writes in and says the FF16 convo reminds me of how we've made it to the point. Reminds me of how we've made it to that point in time where folks on X feel the need to say the game sucks. Just enjoy your games and me mine. I mean,
call it Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter. Even though I think I said X earlier when I was reading an article. But also, I feel people are free to not like things. Also, that's how I feel. I'm like, I should be able as a person to read that somebody dislikes a thing that I like and not get up in arms about it. But also, I understand if you feel like a lot of people are just negative to be negative, because I think that's also true a lot of the time too. But it's video games. Who cares? If somebody doesn't like a video game that you like, who cares? Let them not like the thing. Guess what? Not everybody has the same taste. What's
If
up
they
there?
like it, if they dislike it for dumb reasons, just fucking ignore it. Just walk away.
That too. Yeah. If somebody's like, oh, I don't like this game because I'm playing as a girl.
They're forcing me to play as a woman.
Oh man, playing as a black man. I don't want to play as a black man in Japan. It's like, no, get those don't listen to those people. Those people are idiots. But also, yeah, like make that. I think that's a call you can make for yourself. People are gonna say whatever the fuck they want to say on Twitter. So that's how I approach it. Joe Aker writes in and says, "Been on my mind. Is there a sports game that excels at teaching you the fundamentals / rules of the game? I feel like that's why I bounce off of them so quick."
Ooh, I don't know. I mean,
I like this question a lot.
Like, you're gonna get games with some sort of tutorials if you're creating a character that is gonna maybe teach you how to play the position of the character that you made.
Mm-hmm.
Like on Madden, you'll have the option to do drills as the quarterback, but you're not really gonna be told, "Hey, this is a first down." Like, you're going in there with the knowledge that you know,
but like
what the rules are.
Here's my thing: is that for most sports, if not maybe every sport that I know, I think I learned the rules from video games, right? Like, and when you play Madden video game, you eventually just come to realize, like, oh, this is what a first down is. Oh, this is what an interception is. Oh, it turns out it's a flag if I run across the line of scrimmage as on the defense before the play starts. Offsides. A flag on the play.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like
I learned all the rules to football and baseball, except for that one rule that we fucked up.
Infield flag rule?
Yeah, except for that rule.
No, tagging up.
Oh,
tagging up is that one?
Yeah.
That rule I didn't learn from video games, but every other rule of baseball and football definitely learned from playing video games. Offsides in soccer, no, I learned that from school.
I'm trying to think of specifically like a tutorial for a sports game that can walk you through the fundamentals without having to like. Because Bless, I feel like your perspective is like you playing enough of the game to like catch on to things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like more like kid games or like silly games like Street or some shit like that, you know?
I also think the reason why you haven't seen anything like that is that nobody's really asking for that.
Yeah.
And they sell so well anyway. And I think if there were more people that had issues and bounced off of these games because of the lack of tutorials, then that would be something they'd kind of focus on. But
enough people know how to
I
play the games.
I feel like they know what they're gonna sell. They know their market, and they're not really gonna try to go for that, unfortunately. So Joe, I think you're out of luck, big dog. I don't really know of any games that give you like, here's what the baseline of rules are. And I kind of agree with Bless where you do kind of just learn the rules as you go on, you know?
Yeah.
Except for tagging up.
Charlie Nuggets writes in and says, "Good morning, Bless and Andy. With all the conversation about the failings of live service games, would it be fair to label Warframe as the most successful live service game?" I don't know enough about Warframe to like be able to claim it's the most successful.
I mean, the fact that it's still going.
But like, the first game that comes to mind for me is World of Warcraft.
Yeah. World of Warcraft is up there. I think when you're maybe thinking about, I think maybe the most or the least talked about most successful game, right?
Sure. Yeah.
You know
Most
what I mean?
underrated live service, maybe Warframe. Because a lot of people in chat are saying Fortnite as well. Which I think, like, if we're making, let's do this. Let's make the Mount Rushmore of live service games. Because I think you're getting a Fortnite, you're getting World of Warcraft.
Easily. Those are top 1 and 2.
Those are top 1 and 2.
Final Fantasy 14.
I can see it. I think there's a conversation there.
See,
somebody in chat says Call of Duty. I think there's a conversation for Call of Duty. League of Legends, people are saying.
Ooh.
Counter-Strike.
Oh.
Like,
Call
are we
of
just
Duty's
talking
an interesting one?
Like, and now we're getting to what's just
what is a
multiplayer
live
and what's
service
live
versus.
service.
But I feel like all the things we've mentioned have elements of big updates happening and like
I was also going more for like legacy and lineage, you know, like just stuff that's been around forever.
Yeah.
Or if we're going the route that I usually go, where I try to like get a representative from each one of those little baskets of the one that's been around the longest, the one that has like the highest peaks or whatever, and the one that you're really kind of shocked is still going. Dead by Daylight. That's one that I'm always like, man, that game, like, they caught a fan base, and that fan base stuck with it. And that would have been a game that in any other scenario would have fallen off if something else had kind of grabbed that
When
spotlight.
did that game even come out? I don't like. I feel like Dead by Daylight. I woke up one day.
2017.
I woke up one day and it existed, and everybody was playing it, and I was like, "Where the fuck did this come from?" A game that like, assuming it came out post Evolve, right? Because Evolve
2016.
Okay, that's Evolve came out what 2014, 2015. Because I look at Evolve as like the founding father of asymmetrical multiplayer, and to think
it
that
walked so they could run.
To think that Dead by Daylight came post Evolve, like trying and just failing, and ended up being one of the biggest things. Absolutely wild to me.
I also wonder if it was just like the timing of release, because I think Dead by Daylight found a lot of popularity through streamer culture and finding their favorite sort of personality streaming the game or whatever, and then that creating new fans and that creating sort of new followers of the franchise. Because I feel like if Evolve had hit at the right time, where maybe a lot of people were playing that game and having these larger collaborating or collaboration streams, Evolve could have been that. I think it was just a wrong place, wrong time for Evolve.
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight also certainly helps with all the IP they have, you know?
So many people in chat, or somebody in chat mentioned Roblox as well for the live service conversation.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Which is my Minecraft, is that live service?
We're getting into weird territory.
We're getting into a really weird territory. But yeah, at the very least, I think we can agree. World of Warcraft, Fortnite.
What are the other two? Let us know in the comments below.
Let us know in the comments if you can super chat in the next minute and a half as I wrap up this show, because guess what? We're getting into kindafunny.com/you're wrong. Rewrite in and let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Kebab says, Blessing said Rocket was ahead of its time for the roller coaster building aspect. Interestingly, Rocket came out November 1999. Roller Coaster Tycoon came out 8 months earlier in March. I don't think that's like wrong, but
Yeah, because that's all about building roller coasters. I feel like you were specifically talking about like happening to make roller coasters in a game that's not about.
Like in a
coasters.
3D platformer. But I don't think Kebabs was like even trying to prove me wrong there. I think they were just like pointing out that Roller Coaster Tycoon came out 8 months earlier.
No, they were trying to prove you wrong.
In that case, how dare you, Kebabs?
Thank you, Kebabs.
Tundra Boy says it's called pocket cars because the cars fit in your pocket. Going back to the Like a Dragon thing. So what, they're toy RC cars they were racing? Is that what it is? Because that's cool. I want to try that out.
Let me look up pocket cars.
They had that, guess what? DK64 ahead of its time because they had that there. Remember that, Barrett? You would play as Tiny and she would shrink down and do the RC car.
And then there was Lanky where he had to race the big bug and he was fucking annoying.
Don't get me started on that fucking bug. I hate that bug. And then some more people writing in about yesterday, our conversation about KFC. Andy, did you know KFC was popular during Christmas time? Like more popular during Christmas time than any other time? Apparently, according to Tim, they got lines on the door.
I didn't know that. No.
Okay.
Are they doing turkeys or?
No. It's
Kentucky Fried Turkey?
According to Tim, it's just the fact that like there's a family sit-down aspect to KFC and these fried chicken places that like allows them to kind of blow up over like, holiday season.
Wait, you're saying
especially in Japan.
dine-in experience is more popular.
I think that's what he was saying. Yeah.
Oh.
Now people are calling out in Japan. I just want to let it know, in Japan, but like also in the States. Tim said also in the States.
Because I could maybe see, someone like me without lacking in culinary skills to be like, hey, I have this family. Let me buy a bunch of chicken, and we're gonna have our little Christmas dinner or whatever.
I feel it.
But I don't really know about like people sitting down in the
like Mike. Am I crazy about this? Like in the
You're gonna ask Mike Howard what's normal.
Well, that's because he understood what Tim was talking about yesterday when we were having the conversation.
Bring those pants over.
Andy knows I'm the most normal person in the office, a man of the people, man of the people.
I don't know if I would say that. KFC during the holidays popping off more than usual.
It's very popular outside of the States for the holidays. That's
you're saying outside of the States?
Yes, outside of the States. That's why it's so popular. But also me and Big Mike back in the day, a good holiday dinner. Sometimes you don't want to cook. You just go grab a pizza. Maybe you go grab some McDonald's. Like, it's just easy.
Go to the
it's
movies.
fun. We've been there, done that.
Christmas.
I do love going to the movies during the holidays. That's the best.
Yeah.
I'll say, Andy, you're the best.
Yeah, you're the best, man.
We're done with this episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily. Of course, each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the GamesCast next and the stream after, but until next time, Game Daily.